Welcome to this special screencast edition of the Transfer Skills Snack and Learn presented to you by Kellie Doyle and Morgan O'Connor. We wanted to either acquaint you with the transfer skills or reacquaint you with the transfer skills because they are part of our school improvement plan that begins this year, 2016, and runs through 2019. Specifically, the transfer skills are part of our Learn goal for the school. And on the screen, you can see that our Learn goal states that we are going to incorporate transfer skills into the curriculum and prepare students to adapt their understandings, knowledge, and skills to confront new and unique problems. We are going to emphasize literacy, and I will talk a little bit more about that later. The transfer skills are not brand new to Lakes High School. They are skills that we've really delved into quite a bit in the past. However, it's been a few years since we have talked about them formally, so we just wanted to remind everybody, or again, introduce you to what these even are and how you can help us to meet our Learn goal for the school improvement plan. Here is a list of the transfer skills. There are 8 of them, and you should know that transfer skills are known in many ways. They also are called survival skills by Tony Wagner. They are called 21st century skills. So there are a variety of titles for these skills. For more information about each of these skills, including definitions and even examples of activities, feel free to visit this Google link to have access to this handout that Morgan and Kellie created for you and your students. We at Lakes like to emphasize transfer skills because we want to demonstrate to students that skills they do in one class come into play in other classes, and they come into play again in their futures. And so we created this little cartoon using Pixton.com to illustrate that concept. We have here a student who is in theater class reciting Hamlet. Then he is using that same transfer skill of effective oral communication in his English class. And then we see him again here as a successful business person, again using his effective oral communication skills. So these effective oral communication is a skill that students are going to use not just in the isolated environment of their English class or just their theater class. It comes into play in many different ways. The transfer skills are important because Tony Wagner says so. This is a book most likely to succeed that the building leadership team read over the summer, and he discusses what he likes to refer to as the survival skills in this book. And he explains that these skills are important because we need to prepare students for jobs that don't even exist yet. As you can see from this quote that we pulled from the book, he says that what matters most in our increasing innovation-driven economy is not what students know, but what they can do with what they know. And I would encourage you to watch this 6-minute video in which he explains the survival skills and breaks them down into a little bit more detail for you. The video is on Vimeo. We already at Lakes are helping our students to practice these skills every single day. So here we have Mrs. Scheidt's classroom, physics classroom, and they are completing a lab. You can see that they are probably implementing the transfer skills of critical thinking and problem solving, agility and adaptability, collaboration across networks, effective oral communication, accessing and analyzing information, a variety of the skills. Same thing in our global studies classes. For example, here we have some students who clearly are collaborating across networks. They are using their effective oral communication skills, perhaps accessing and analyzing information. So these, once again, are things that we're already doing, but here's how you can help us to meet the goal we have set out to meet in our school improvement plan. Help us to make the transfer skills a common language. Use the skill language on your handouts, in your daily objectives that you write on the board, and just in your general conversations with students. Help them to see the transfer by talking to them about the transfer. And also help them to answer why they are doing certain activities in your class, because it will help them to make a connection to the skill and how they might use it in the real world. We would encourage you to consider collaborating with other departments or even just having more conversations with teachers in other departments to identify opportunities to make the transfer more apparent to students. And we also encourage you to try to hit on all 8 of the skills at some point in the semester or in the year as you work with your students and as you plan your lessons. One thing Morgan commented on when she started the digital portfolio project 3 years ago is that that project forced her to become a better teacher, in that she realized that many times she wasn't offering her students opportunities to practice certain skills, for instance, entrepreneurialism and initiative. So she, as the teacher, had to create opportunities for them to do that so they could practice the skill and also prove their growth in the skill on their digital portfolio. More on the digital portfolios later. As I mentioned before, one neat thing about the transfer skills is it helps us to explain to students why they might be completing a certain task in class. So I was reflecting on my time as an English 2 teacher. I often would have students ask me, why do we need to read Shakespeare, Miss Doyle? Why? And one thing I would tell them is because someday when they are a citizen or in their career or in college, they're going to come across difficult texts that they're going to have to learn how to decode. So we would be practicing our accessing and analyzing information skills, the primary literacy skill in the transfer skill list, in order to decode Caesar, which then could transfer into helping them decode difficult texts that they encounter in the real world. And I don't know, maybe some of them bought into it. I really genuinely believe that. Some students, that's maybe not the best answer for them, but hopefully it does help give them a little bit more purpose to what they're doing. We also hope that you can help with the transfer skills by recognizing that we have this really cool digital portfolio project that the freshmen and sophomores this year are working on. The freshmen are focusing on 4 skills in particular, and the sophomores are focusing on 4 other skills. While the freshmen are doing most of their work during their global studies class, the sophomores are doing the work on their digital portfolio in their chemistry classes this year. We do like to encourage students at some point, depending on the class, to add artifacts to their digital portfolio from classes beyond global studies and chemistry. So again, just have conversations with your students about the activities that they're doing, what transfer skills relate, and help them to reflect on how they're using those skills to complete the task at hand. Tony Wagner also comments on digital portfolios and their importance in the educational landscape in his book, the same book I was referring to earlier, Most Likely to Succeed. And here is a quote that basically says that employers appreciate digital portfolios because they would rather see demonstrated skills than just simply looking at a degree or an undergraduate major or a resume that lists skills. So this is one reason why we are doing the digital portfolio project. But additionally, we just think it's going to help make learning about the transfer skills and using the transfer skills a more tangible experience for students. We want them to always be reflecting on their growth in these skills and ways that they hope to improve in these skills. And we also want to help to ignite their passion, part of the district and school mission statement, through this portfolio project. We just this year actually incorporated some passion statements to help make this project a little bit more meaningful to them and their personal passions. Please feel free to visit a few of these digital portfolio examples that were provided to us by Ms. Riley and Mrs. Walsh. These are some freshman students who just recently started to put their first artifacts on their digital portfolios, and they have been doing impressive work, and you also can read some of their sample reflections. Please feel free to contact Morgan or Kelly at any time if you would like to discuss transfer skills more, or if you would like help brainstorming how to bring them into your classroom in a very simple way. We are very happy to support you in any way that we can. Thank you for listening. Good luck.